Good morning, everybody. How are you doing? Happy CPI day. My name is Ansel Linder. This is Bitcoin and Markets. Today, we are going to be reacting live to the October CPI drop that is scheduled to come out here in about 4 minutes. Let me share my screen and we'll start getting into it. First and foremost, bitcoinandmarkets.com. Check it out. Sign up for the free weekly newsletter, and that's where you can also support my content. Now let's get over to this CPI preview. From Zero Hedge, CPI preview, disinflation, stalling, health insurance spiking, and Goldman's market matrix. Okay, let's read a little bit of this. Ahead of the October CPI print, the market expects a 0.3% month-over-month increase in October for core, corresponding to a year-over-year rate of 4.1. So they're looking at core, which does not include food and energy. It does include the shelter component, which is a lagging component. And I don't think it's very valuable to look at CPI including shelter at this point because, it's already baked in the cake. That shelter will follow. It does not have a mind of its own, as I've said. Okay, consensus also expects a 0.1% month-over-month increase in October headline CPI, which corresponds to a year-over-year rate of 3.3%, down from 3.7 in September. Year-over-year is worthless, as I've said a lot in the last couple of years, because it is like an average of, it's not an average, it's a cumulative of the last 12 readings. But if you take an average speed of a car, 12 cumulative readings, say, of the speed of a car, and it hits a brick wall and the speed is 0, it's going to take a long time for the actual cumulative 12 lagging, the lag there of the last 12 cumulative readings to get to 0. And it's not even informational at that point once you pass that 0 mark. And that's what happened back in July of 2022. Okay, this would also translate to a roughly 0.3% increase in core services, excluding rent and owner's equivalent rent. So also 0.1%, that is a 1.2% annualized rate, right? So we're under 2%. Under 2%. Now, also, let's jump over here to Cleveland Fed Nowcast, Inflation Nowcast, and you can see in October, they're expecting 0.07. If you guys can see that, let me make this a little bigger if I can. 0.07, and then November is 0.08. So 2 months in a row under 0.1%. Okay, let's jump over to the BLS website and refresh and see if we got a drop here. Nope, still September. 829, 829. Let's go, boys. Get this updated. 829. Still September. All right. I am expecting the inflation nowcast to be pretty close, maybe even missing it to the upside a little bit, but we will see. Energy and gasoline and many things are coming down. Used cars are coming down. And shelter is a lagging indicator. So it is also coming down, but it's going to take a lot longer for it to come down. If you do CPI all items less shelter, I bet we're negative this time, but let's see. 8:30. Come on, boys. Still September up here. Refresh. There we go. Oh my God. CPI for all items unchanged in October. Holy cow. This is a big, big time overperformance. That means it's 0. It's 0% for month over month. That is a repeat of October. Headline is going to be drastically cut on the year over year. And I bet we also get core dropping much faster. This is going to be hugely beneficial for stocks and Bitcoin and all of that. So let's read this. Let's zoom in a little bit. Consumer price index for all urban consumers was unchanged in October on a seasonally adjusted basis after increasing 0.4% in September. The U.S. Bureau of Labor and Statistics said reported today. Over the last 12 months, the all items index increased 3.2%. This is going to be a big beat for the markets here. The index for shelter continued to rise in October. See, shelter is a lagging indicator. And if we take shelter out, I bet we got a negative print. I mean, almost certainly we got a negative print if we take shelter out. Um, Offsetting a decline in gasoline index and resulting in a seasonally adjusted index being unchanged over the month. The energy index fell 2.5% over the month as a 5.0% decline in the gasoline index more than offset increases in other energy component indices. The food index increased 0.3% in October after rising 0.2% in September. The index for food at home increased 0.3% over the month, while the index for food away from home rose 0.4%. The index for all items less food and energy, so this is core, rose 0.2%. So that's also a beat. They were expecting 0.3%, if you remember from just a minute ago. After rising 0.3% in September. So it is cooling. It is cooling. Indices which increased in October include rent, owner's equivalent rent, motor vehicle insurance, medical care, recreation, and personal care. The index for lodging away from home, used cars and trucks, communication, and airline fares were among those that decreased over the month. The all items index rose 3.2% for the 12 months ending in October, a smaller increase than the 3.7% increase for the 12 months ending in September. The all items less food and energy index rose 4.0% over the last 12 months, its smallest 12-month change since the period ending in September of 2021. The energy index decreased 4.5% for the 12 months ending October, and the food index increased 3.3% over the last year. Let's dive into this table a little bit. And the one I want to look at here is shelter down at the bottom. And we have an October reading of 0.3%. So it did increase, but it is lower. If we look at the last few months, let's go back to April, 0.4, 0.6, 0.4, 0.4, 0.3, 0.6, and now back down to 0.3. So it's bouncing around a little bit, but it will continue to come down. A lot of people are talking about the real estate market right now, how it's bound to crash here in the next, coming 12 months with interest rates so high and people unable to buy a home with these high interest rates because they can't afford the monthly payment. The affordability of a home has gone way down. So this will continue to drop. Shelter will continue to drop. And I bet it is a huge percentage of this this overall CPI print. So what I want to do real quick is go to Fred. X shelter, and we'll see if they have updated this for the month. And I'll share my screen. So this is all items less shelter, and we'll zoom in here. They have not updated this for the month yet, but you can see that all items less shelter, last month it was 0.07, and I bet it's pretty far negative. We got some negative prints back here in July, August 2022. Even September was very slightly negative. We also got a negative print in November, December of 2022. So I bet we were negative on the CPI less shelter, and that shelter component is a lagging indicator. All right, guys, so there you have it. CPI was unchanged for the month of October. Actually, let's take a look at the charts. So Bitcoin, how is Bitcoin reacting? Let's go down to the 5-minute. Nice big bullish candle here, green candle on the day so far after the CPI print. This print will be bullish for Bitcoin and will be bullish for stocks. Let's take a look at the dollar here. What's the dollar doing? Big time dip on the dollar. Oh my goodness. Look at that. The dollar did not like that, falling almost a full point. from 5.6 down to 105.6 down to 104.8 in a matter of 5 minutes. That is a huge reaction. Let's take a look at oil. Oil going higher a little bit. The 10-year, big time dip. Oh man, a lot of people were thinking that the 10-year was going to turn back up and go higher, but that's not what's going to happen, because we're going into recession. We've hit a climax in the yields with a bearish divergence, and it's showing very weak price action here, breaking the lows and probably going lower here in the near term. And we can't look at the S&P 500 because it's on a delay. Both of the futures for the stock market, but I bet they will have a very positive day today. Okay, so now that is where I am going to leave it, guys. Thank you. Check out bitcoinandmarkets.com. Sign up for the free weekly newsletter. If you're watching on Rumble or YouTube, like, comment, subscribe. Make sure you're subscribed. Please share this content out with people, trying to grow the channels there on the YouTube and the Rumble. And that's it, guys. I'll see you on the next one. Bye.